guys, it's Greg, Danny, and Joe here from Ritual Gaming, and we are back with episode 14. We're calling it Need for Speed. It is back, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We've kind of missed a lot of character updates with our last episodes. We've been having guests on, we've been doing different things, so this week we really wanted to give the two new characters their dues and talk about them. And they're just out, so it makes sense, right? So we're going to jump right into Dengar. Joe, are you stoked on Dengar?
I am stoked on Dengar. I'm stoked for a number of reasons. Number one, he looks really cool.
He does.
And I think one of the first reactions of people when Dengar came out was just, who is this guy? And why does he... We were just chatting earlier about how it looks like he's just been the victim of a sort of acid attack or something, and he's all bandaged up.
He's not a handsome man.
He's not a handsome man.
Yeah.
No. I like how the devs described him as, what is it, slovenly and...
Slovenly.
Yeah, he's just a bit of a scumbag.
Just your average scumbag.
And that I guess that's the second reason I'm excited is scoundrels. It's like Cad Bane is in Galactic War now, and then they've brought Dengar along. His kit looks interesting. We'll get into it in a sec. Like, could it finally be time for the scoundrels to rise? Yeah.
They're filling out... What I like, too, is that with each new character release, they're really filling out the tribal factions of Star Wars.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about Sunfac when he came out was that it was Genosian.
Yeah.
To take us up from 2 to 3 now. If you guys have watched us before, you know that we're, generally speaking, free-to-play players. You know, we've bought the odd crystal here and there, but we don't roll chromiums. We don't do any of that.
Yeah.
We've probably got a grand total of 500 US between the three of us, you know, which is enough to get you half of a Sunfac. But just that he's there makes me happy. And, same with Dengar. Just another scoundrel in the mix with a cool-looking set of tools.
I think, too, as a free-to-play player with guys like that, I just look at it way down the line. Think, like, in a year, maybe... You know, maybe there's a shot that he'd get put in Cantina, or you have,
Old
like,
Ben. They just remember when they dropped that Old Ben.
Yeah.
If you're new to the game, you're used to seeing Old Bens everywhere, but it used to be just 6 months ago that he was the most coveted character in the whole game.
Yeah, he was completely pay.
And about the scoundrel thing is, where was I going with this? I've already forgotten. But no, he's they've been, a lot of people have been talking about scoundrel events coming out, and it's been data mined that it might be one of the new events where Yoda's living, and all these new events are coming out.
Where Yoda's living?
What? He's living in there, in the event section.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's where he
resides.
resides.
Scoundrels were gonna come to Yoda's place.
Yeah, and it was, you know, cast your mind back to Reddit circa February 2016, and there was this big data mine. Yeah, there was this big
scoundrel event tomorrow.
Next week.
I remember that, and we kept looking like.
But
it was here.
Interestingly, that data mine came out at the same time as Jawa Engineer. They were part of the same data mine.
Wow, were they?
Yeah, and Jawa Engineer showed up.
Wow,
just a few
feels
weeks.
Like ages.
It was ages ago. Like that's when you see this data mine information, you got to think. It seems to be now. You got to think like. This might show up 5 months
and the
in
fact
the
that he's the monthly character, he just came out and they're giving away for free right away, just kind of hinting more. Yeah.
Yep.
And they just put Cad Bane, like you just said.
Yeah.
You know.
And we know what happened with Magma Trooper. He went pretty much straight from daily character to Galactic War.
Yeah, that's true.
Shipments.
Anyway,
like, we talked about getting
nobody
this guy.
is interested in this.
Let's talk about why we want to get him.
All right, let's talk about him. All right, so his first ability, target spotted, deal physical damage to target enemy. If the target is suffering from any debuffs, there's a 60% chance to call an ally to assist. If the assisting ally is a scoundrel, the attack is guaranteed to be a critical hit.
That's cool.
And damage ranges between 2,900 to 3,200 about. So seems cool.
That's a good 4,000 crit. That's not. It's nothing to turn your nose up at for a primary that can give assists.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And
that's true too.
Once you see the rest of his kit, I mean, those guys are going to be debuffed.
Are there any other primaries in the game right now that give assists?
Fives gives himself assists.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But are there any that give assists to other
I
people?
can't think of any.
Because we were discussing in one of our past episodes the importance of assists and how it really snowballs what you're trying to do with the synergy of your comp. And so if you have a primary with assists, like, yeah, if that's
you could
not...
fit really cool on a Phasma team.
Yeah,
Well,
that would get
Oh,
weird.
Phasma
Yeah.
gives your whole team potential assist
Yeah.
on primary
Yeah.
attack. That would be the other one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I can't think of any other who
I think
have
that's
a
cool
dedicated
ability.
primary that could give it. Yeah.
Phasma
Yeah.
attacks enough, you know. I don't think they really need this guy
Yeah.
on their team.
Now, we were theory crafting just before the episode because we didn't want to look like fools
Mhm.
as to which scoundrels would give debuffs. And obviously, Boba Fett,
Yeah.
um,
Cat Bane.
Cad Bane,
Stuns.
Cad Bane stuns too.
Yeah. And that could be a great way that when you stun someone, you can just punish them.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like you stun a guy, hopefully Rey, and then you
Or Leia.
or Leia. Any one of those annoying characters will do. And then you lay into them with a Dengar primary,
And they
that
dodge.
primary calls and they dodge,
They dodge.
but that can still call the assist, and then you
Yeah.
might still get one hit on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have 2 chances for them to dodge.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we will not let our biases ruin this constructive conversation.
Yeah.
Will we?
Alright, Blast and Smash is his next ability. Deal physical damage to target enemy with a 50% chance to inflict speed down for 3 turns, which just immediately makes me think of Rancor. And if the target has 50% turn meter or more, there's also a chance that they'll be stunned for 1 turn.
No, there's not a chance. They are stunned.
They are stunned for 1 turn.
There's no chance. Yeah, which is way cooler.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't even think about that then. Yeah, okay.
That is huge. That is a guaranteed stun on the right character at the right time.
Yeah.
That kind
That's
of
huge.
and that also
That's
means
huge.
That is huge, and that also means that
The AI will screw it up.
The AI will screw it up. Which is the same with any character.
Yeah.
They're like, this Royal Guard with 0 turn meter? Bam,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, you always stun the people you don't want to stun, don't you?
Yeah.
But teams with, like old Ben teams with dodges that give turn meter, with Saint Han.
Saint Hands.
Saint Han.
That's how he should be referred to.
I agree.
Because he is the blessed saint
Yeah.
of Rey and Leia.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
even just all white in his
the
stormtrooper.
Rey
The
and
Rey is
Trinity.
Saint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the-
Saint hands right at the top
Actually,
there, and
when
then
you think about
Leia
it,
and Rey.
if you have
Yeah.
that rebel team with Akbar, Leia, Han, Rey, and Hoth Rebel Scout,
Yeah.
they're all in pure white.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh man, but
Right.
you might manipulate it in such a way that you can, you just look around and you go, oh wow, if I hit so and so right now, guaranteed stun. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
huge.
it's going to be huge.
Oh, and then
That
the
is
next
cool.
time you primary them, if you get enough time in,
I've always been a huge fan of stuns, so
Mhm.
the fact that you can
Yeah.
really play with it, that's
yeah,
cool.
stun
Dang-
is what dodge
dang-
should be. Yeah.
Why don't you give us the next one?
So the next one is Mini Mine Mayhem.
I like that name.
Alliteration.
They're like, yeah, alliteration. Yeah.
Deal physical damage to all enemies, then inflict negative status effects on all enemies that suffer a critical hit. Effects inflicted depend on number of critical hits scored. So, critical
Wow,
hit.
that's
So,
interesting.
so Lando says, "What's up?"
So with one critical hit, tenacity down for 3 turns, 2 critical hits, damage over time for 3 turns, and 3 critical hits, 50% turn meter reduction. That's cool.
Wow.
I want
really
Dengar.
think that's creative design.
Yeah, I really want Dengar. He might suck in the end. You know
Yeah,
how these things
yeah,
on
yeah,
paper,
yeah.
you look
Yeah,
at them and you go like, "Oh my god," and then
Man, his kit looks so good right now. I feel like he's just going to hit either end of the spectrum. He's going to be amazing or
Yeah.
he's just going to be awful.
I mean, his damage does look low. He's not outputting a huge amount
I
of
don't
damage.
think
But
that's
with all
really-
of that toolbox
Yeah.
behind him, like it would be unfair if he was also a good DPSer. But I just I want to play with him. Like when the more moving parts a character has, the more they excite me. It's the same reason I love Yoda.
Yeah.
Yoda is just so fun to play with. I
Yeah.
use him on my Galactic War every day, just because I can.
And you
mess
brought
up-
him into raids a couple times.
Yeah,
and
he's
stuff.
great
Yeah.
in raids. Like in raids, he's proper A tier. In Galactic War, it's just me having fun to make Galactic War less of a galactic chore.
Or
Oh.
Galactic
Bore.
Rhymes.
Yeah.
Watch out.
alliteration
Yeah.
rhymes with freaking poets.
Stay tuned to the end where we will.
Danny's
just-
gonna rap.
Danny's
Yeah,
gonna
I'll do a little rap.
A little Star Wars rap.
Do a little hippity hop. That's good.
In Jawa.
Good we got the English guy to say hip hop.
Hippity hop.
Hippity hop.
Hip hop.
All right.
Yeah.
But
All
no,
right,
that's
exciting.
cool. Yeah, how they're
Cool
just
dude.
doing...
Let's look at his unique now.
Yeah.
So, Dan, you want to give his unique?
Is that Grizzled Veteran?
Yeah, which is an amazing name for unique.
It is pretty good, yeah.
Like, he's not a handsome man, but he's got a really, like, handsome sounding unique, so, you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure he does okay.
You
Yeah,
think
he does
you,
okay.
you think you're getting ham and then like on like Tinder or whatever, and then galactic Tinder, and then you just get like a dude who looks like he's had half his face burnt off.
Oh!
Oh well.
Yeah.
I don't have to like him.
Whenever Dengar receives a critical hit, he gains stealth for 2 turns.
Oh,
Cool. Whenever
What?
an enemy evades Dengar's attack, he gains 60% turn meter. Whenever
I'm not big on the
Dengar
evasion
suffers a negative status effect, he gains tenacity up for 2 turns.
Wow.
That is the coolest unique
Yeah.
that's come out in a long time.
it is so much.
They
going
really,
on.
I'm really excited about this because it definitely shows a step, in my opinion, in the right direction of character design, where they're having a lot more. Like, if you're gonna continue to have PvP where it's player versus AI, and you have a lot of these different kind of grindier factions of it, then make a lot of the systems, the character systems and designs, a bit more intricate, where you're really playing with this puzzle of like, okay, I pulled this off. Can I pull this off next? Instead of being like blam, 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 or just dodge, dodge, dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually-
I mean, we've talked about it before. Like the more, like when Protection came out, one of the things we were most excited about was that debuffs and buffs would actually matter,
Yeah.
and that turned out to be the case. Like debuffs and buffs now are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of just
Oh,
didn't matter
They
before.
just
They
didn't matter.
really didn't
You
matter.
forget, like
yeah.
before Protection came out, offense up, defense down. No one even knew what they did.
Actually,
Yeah.
I
Well,
remember...
Who cares?
No.
Because they would just die the next turn anyways.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember seeing some buffs that always existed, and then I asked Greg, I was like, did they always have this? And he's like, yeah, but it just never mattered
No one
before.
cared.
Yeah.
No one cared. And so having now characters coming out, this guy is like buff debuff central here.
Yeah.
You know, like this guy is just the marionette.
I have
pulling
a
the strings
question
with the
about
buffs and
his-
debuffs.
Special, the mini mine mayhem, you know, when he does 1 critical, 2 or 3.
Mhm.
If he gets 3 criticals, does that mean he gets the 1 and 2?
No, I doubt it. That's way too good.
But surely you can't get 3 critical
Without getting 1?
without getting 1.
You know what I mean?
3 criticals at a time.
Okay, well then think about it this way, right? If he gets 1, it's gonna be tenacity down for everyone, also damage over time, and 50% turn meter reduction. That would be the most ridiculous thing ever. And then everyone just run him with a crit up lead and then hope for that.
Well, that's what I've seen bandied around already. Is that, and it's something I'm excited to try out. Is
Wow.
IG88 leads.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
right?
you know what?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
right,
yeah,
Greg.
that.
That would be ridiculous. Kind of as ridiculous as somebody who, in the game that everyone already evades, has a chance to gain turn meter whenever they evade.
Yes,
So
that
that
would be
would
ridiculous.
also be ridiculous.
What's
What
that?
kind
Yeah.
of a game would do that?
Some guy that couldn't remember someone's father that he watched burn to death.
Also,
That
some
It
guy-
guy,
existed for like 5 minutes in a
some little
film.
blue, Gumby-looking dude in a cowboy hat who's also a scoundrel.
Yeah. Mm.
All right.
But, yeah.
Wow.
We'll see
so,
how it works.
okay,
That's true,
if
yes.
Cad
On that
Bane.
point,
Yeah,
Cad Bane, as we were saying,
Yeah.
It's like
Okay,
a
let's get into
scoundrel
that.
old Ben.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, so we were discussing that will this start to bring scoundrel teams into a focal point? Will people start experimenting them with a bit more? Is what I think one of the beauties of things like this, and I think with all games that constantly have buffs and nerfs and changes like Hearthstone or even League of Legends or something like that, is when you do have a new character introduced to it or a buff or a nerf, people just start to change their, they change their ideas about, okay, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought it was. It just turns those cranks and thinks like, okay, maybe I can make this work.
Yeah, I remember,
Yeah.
this is a reference that only the Hearthstone players out there remember, but when that mysterious champion came in
Oh, yeah.
and just made Paladin insane
Oh,
for
I
like
remember, yeah.
a month while the meta settled and could figure out how to deal with it,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
we abused that
oh
card
god,
like
yeah.
crazy.
When do you
yeah.
think I got my first legendary?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
do you think I got my legendary card back? Secret Pally. But
It should just be in little
it should
brackets.
have little asterisks in the
Little
bottom corner.
shame brackets
Yeah.
for
I know.
you and me.
I genuinely felt deep inside of me ashamed to
Yeah.
like, even run that
This
legendary
was
card back
too
because I
easy.
totally exploited it.
I felt like it could be just like in this game where you can just go auto mode and then be like 60% win rate.
Yeah.
Right.
When
to
you come
legendary.
first with
Yeah.
a Dooku lead and it's just like with an asterisk, one
Yeah.
asterisk, I dodged 35 times
Yeah.
in that last game.
Oh, that would be great. Okay, don't introduce replays or anything like that for defense, but just show
Just
how
the
many.
shame meter.
Yeah, Dooku and Ben leads. How many times they've just won by just dodging everything.
Or just like a balanced
Yeah.
system of like skill and luck, you know, and just your skill goes down.
forgetting one
How
of
many
the-
times?
as
you
you introduce-
You're forgetting one thing about this game.
Yeah.
There's no skill.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tactics.
It's debatable.
Tactics,
Yeah.
yes.
There's no skill, yeah. If you
All
had
right.
to aim those little blasters, it would be a
Anyways,
terrible-
but
terrible game.
okay, so with this introduction
Introduction.
of possible scoundrel teams,
Ashoka.
we were talking about this earlier, and we were saying like, why are there not more teams with synergy like scoundrels, like droids? You know, have a good synergy. Rebels now.
Yeah.
Jedi teams used to be a thing. You know, there is synergy teams, but why are they kind of neglecting more synergy teams coming out? And it's exactly because you can just throw a Phasma or Ben on your team,
It's like
and then throw a whole bunch of random characters together and just have RNG win you.
yeah, it's
top.
it's you
I
know,
feel
it's-
like-
when
I
you
feel like-
over- okay.
But we could definitely get to that as we progress right now. Yeah, I agree with you right now. That's definitely the way. However, let's look at a step in the right direction. Is that they are releasing a lot of tribal characters.
Yeah.
And they haven't really gotten to a lot of, like, to the point of a lot of different tribals, like factions where you can be running like an entire tribal faction that might really work, right? And yeah, okay, synergy, I agree with you, but I feel like with Dengar, they're going a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Where they're going to say, okay, maybe he's not going to do a ton of damage, but man, he's going to have a crazy good kit, and if you do run him with scoundrels, he's going to be even better.
My favorite part maybe of that whole kit is if scoundrel. When it says
Yeah.
if a scoundrel,
Yeah.
you get an assist. Like
I think they need to
encouraging
start
synergy.
introducing more of that stuff to just, yeah, I
Well, that's
agree
why
with you. They need to
Akbar is
push
so
it.
cool because it's.
I respect
it would
Akbar
call
teams. When I face Akbar teams
Rebels
on the server,
only to assist. you
yeah,
know? that's
when
cool.
When I face an Akbar team on a server, I get frustrated because they're really good, but I get frustrated in a like respectful way. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
because
lost.
Greg said it,
Yeah.
and we all kind of agreed a while back. Like,
That when
ages
Akbar
back,
hits, he'll be good.
Akbar's kind of like the new sleeper, and lo and behold, you
Yeah.
know.
But it's more like you had to synergize. You had to go out and get your Leia. You had to go and get your Hoth
Yeah.
level scout. You had to go and like consider leveling bigs.
Yeah.
Like,
This is
you had
exactly
to build
it, yeah.
a proper team of characters.
Spend
Of
time
course,
and energy.
the irony is that
Yeah.
what we see in every single Akbar team sitting in the corner there next to all of the little rebel buddies is Rey, because she's still a bit too overpowered
Yeah.
for a for a resistance character who doesn't need any synergies whatsoever. She's just your battering ram. You can slot in any spot. But not to take away from those, like when I see those rebel teams, I go like, all right,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
when you
fair
just
enough.
see a Phasma team with everything good in
Especially-
it, you kind of go like,
If people are running rebel teams where, like, especially if they're a free to play person and they've like built up a rebel team, then good for you, man.
Yeah.
You probably
Yeah.
you saw the
worked
meta
hard
coming.
on that.
Yeah, you worked hard on that. Those guys weren't easy.
Well, if they're a
to
free to
do.
play player, getting a Leia
Yeah.
would be
Wow.
very
Well,
difficult.
the free to play option is Hoth Rebel Scout.
Yeah,
Who would
yeah,
replace
that's
Leia.
that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And I mean,
I
it's
see those
still
teams-
it's still good.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's still a decent team. It's not. I don't see. You know, the ones I see in the top 10 anyway are the Rayas.
Yeah,
Reyes,
you know,
yeah.
the Raya teams, which
The
is
Rhea teams.
I actually did a little rundown the other day of my top 10, and I was the only member of the top 10 who wasn't running either Rey, Leia, or both Rey and Leia.
Yeah.
You know, it's when that's the case, you know that you've made an imbalanced character. So, anyway, we're trading. Yeah.
Let's talk about B2,
Mm.
Super Battle Droid.
We
Which
were
is
all very excited when we heard he was coming.
Yes.
I was very excited.
And then
am I
something
now? I don't think so.
terrible happened.
Yeah.
They put him in an Erodian pack.
Yes. Now, obviously, since he's an Erodian pack, or we can't really access them since we're free to play players.
Mm.
We even, some of us. Did
you buy one?
No. But what
we
I did
debated it.
theorize
Yeah.
was if I just forewent everything else I was doing and just spent all of my crystals, my 500 or whatever, 5 to 400 a day from Arena and everything else I got on just the Rhodium packs, how far would I get at getting a B2? And the answer was not far enough.
Yeah.
No, I was
You
watching
came on like 4 stars or something, right?
No, I could have maybe, if the rolls went my way, if RNG loved me, which it never does, I might have had about a 5.5 star B2. If I devoted a month's worth of crystals, that would have been neglecting our whole guild. That would have been neglecting every single other part of the game, apart from getting this one character.
Well, I was watching Ramon's video, whatever, some guy.
Remon?
There it is, yeah. His video today about
Famous Remon.
Rhodium pulls, and he was pulling for a B2.
Mm.
And he got him, but he had to go through 35 pulls. And he said he spent,
$750 a pop.
2,600, around 2,600 crystals. No, was it 26,000?
Wow.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
the number that
26,000.
the
Yes,
number I've
yes.
seen thrown around is, if you want the Iridium character, it costs around $250 US.
Yeah.
Which is bleeping obscene for a character
Putting that into
in a
Hong
video
Kong
game.
dollars.
Yeah, that's $1,800 honky dollars.
No, that's so much more. Isn't it
250?
times 8?
Oh yeah, you're right. It's a lot of dollars.
Yeah.
Wherever you are in the world for a cartoon.
Just pay your
droid.
rent. Don't do
Some
this.
messing
I know,
around
no.
with
This
that
is the thing.
already.
As we sometimes get on a little free to play high horse. Like when you play this game and you want to put your money into it and you have fun with it.
Yeah.
Maximum respect. Like this is
Yeah.
not like
No.
bashing on the whales out there. This is not
No.
like a lot of our.
I have
Guild
no
mates
interest
have
in
been
bashing
going-
on rails. Like, on bashing on rails.
It sounds really
little,
boring.
little bit of
Japanese.
a little bit juice talk there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do that, you want to do that. And if you had the cash, I would do the exact same thing.
I
I'd be
agree.
like, I like droids, I like B2, gimme.
Yeah.
But it's not the case.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I think, what's the point of the Iridium pack if you have to spend at a P2P, a play to win, a play to play, whatever you want to call it, level, to have that character
Yeah.
anyway? Just stick him in the Chromium and you can get
It
other stuff at the
definitely-
same time.
It feels like a little bit of a, like, kind of a bluff where they're like, oh, this is something you can buy with crystals, so, it's for the average dude too, but...
Yeah, like I guess our argument isn't really that spending money to play the game is dumb. That's obviously not our point at all. Like maximum respect to all of our guild mates who spend money, to all of our everyone on the Team Skunk teams who pay money. It's nothing.
I'm glad they do, because otherwise we wouldn't get nowhere in raids.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, and it's
That was
more.
perfect
It's more.
English too.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
It's
get
more-
nowhere.
it's
We wouldn't get
more
nowhere.
like- that Erodium thing.
Yeah.
It's like waving
Yeah.
this false sense of good value in front of you, and it's actually terrible value.
Yeah.
Not just for the pay-to-win players, but the pay-to-play. I hate pay-to-win. It sounds so derogatory.
Yeah, it does
It's
actually.
the pay-to-play players. Like, they might as well not have it.
Yeah.
It does seem like it's there to tempt someone like us in,
Yeah.
who we're right on
Yeah.
the edge. Like we spend money. Like it's not like we haven't spent money.
Yeah.
We spend enough to buy something nice between us, but I want
I think
to just quarter that number, and they'll probably make 10 times more money.
Yeah, I think too. We're going to talk about this a little later on in the episode, and we've spoken about this before in episodes. We were talking about Puzzle and Dragons Pad, the other kind of very popular cell phone game, and when they had kind of pull to win events where you would be encouraged to purchase credits in the game. The benefit of those was they had almost about the same odds as Erodium packs. However, when you did pull to win that, you got that full character.
Yeah.
Like
Once
that
you
was
got it,
that was yours
you
to
got
play
it.
around with.
But they also warned you 2 weeks in advance
Yeah.
when it was coming,
Yeah.
so you could save up for this.
Yeah.
And know
They'll be like-
exactly how
and
much
then
you're
it
getting.
lasted for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, okay, guys, in 2 weeks, this thing's coming for 24 hours, and it's going to be your only chance to get this character. Save up, go nuts.
Yeah.
And you might spend $100 US and get nada.
Yeah.
You might spend $5 and get the character just pop out of the thing.
Or
like,
you
first
also
time.
might not spend any because you would save up your crystals or whatever.
You
they
didn't
were.
like that character.
And you're
Yeah.
like, really want to take a shot at getting
And
this.
every event had
Yeah.
a theme. So it'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, it's the Rebel event coming in. And then it'd be like, roll the Chromium pack, but the chance of Rebels is 3 times.
Yeah.
And then like, so it'd be
Oh
just...
man, I would do that.
I would do that. If
Yeah.
they came around and
Yeah,
said
actually
Rebels...
thinking
yeah.
about that now, I missed that, like, anticipation
The
of
excitement of
saving up
Godfest.
money.
Yeah.
And just being like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to
Yeah.
be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the excitement of Godfest Day. We used to like...
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
We would like not
Yeah.
talk to each other over the game chat for a week, and then Godfest Day would come around and it'd be like
Pictures,
just
pictures,
full-
pictures, like,
pictures,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, we're getting way
All
off
right,
track.
yeah,
There's a
we
new
definitely-
droid in the game.
Okay,
Let's
so
talk
yeah,
about
B2 Super Battle Droid. All right,
Yes.
so first ability, primary attack, heavy arms, deals physical damage to target enemy and inflict evasion down, aka take off. I was gonna swear, but I'll keep it PC.
Yeah.
Take off, old
PG
Ben.
rather than PC, unless you want to like tell all parts of society that you love them as well. Hey, society, we love you.
Alright, PG. And, alright, I'm gonna start from the beginning there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict evasion down for 2 turns. Damage about 2100 to 2300.
Which is why we were excited in the first place.
Yeah.
Because we were sick of dodge, we run droids, boom, there's the
Evasion
answer.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
evasion down.
I mean,
Is this going to be the answer though? Because it does have to hit,
Yeah.
It
right?
has
It
to-
can still be dodged.
but if you look into his stats, he has a potency of 170. Which, when you actually type it out to people that know their stats, go like, no, you mean 120, right? No, 170. That's sticking.
Huh.
Okay.
Against
Okay.
all but the most tenacious of characters.
But you were
Uh,
saying before how it sucks that it's his primary.
That's my thing. When we go into his...
Yeah.
Well, tell us what his special
Alright,
is.
next one, mow down.
Mow down. Dumb.
Yeah!
Deal physical damage to all enemies and dispel all positive status effects on them, with a 65% chance to also inflict buff immunity for 2 turns.
Yeah, so my thing was, you get evasion down from the primary, just swap it
Yep.
with ability block from the primary,
The secondary.
so that you have an AoE almost guaranteed hit evasion down. You're cooking with gas. I think that is like, you get that out with a Java engineer.
Droid's team would just be unbeatable though.
That would be the problem. So I can see
Yeah.
where they did it. I'm just saying, it kind of makes the primary worthless, though. You know,
not totally worthless, but yes.
But you're gonna have
not-
to use the primary, right?
Yeah.
and what's the
As long as it
damage
doesn't
rating on
die
that
right
primary? I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think it's low.
It's low. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
1500?
no, it's 20 about
21 to
2100.
24.
Yeah, I had someone in one of the guys from Team Skunk Alpha saying like, by the way, guys, you know, you can cross Barris off the bottom of the list as the weakest hitter in the game. He got his B2 to 7-star, started hitting people and going like, the primary is worthless apart from the evasion down. It is a tickle.
That is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a tickle. Which,
Wow.
considering his kit as we go on, is
Droids are supposed to be,
understandable.
you know.
I mean, look at the size of the guy. He's hench, but
You know, honestly, all
I
you
mean,
need to
his
do is
kit
just swap up the
doesn't have
little
that
chip
much,
and
though.
he'll do more damage. Turn a
Alright.
screw.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about.
true. Put a better gun in it.
Yeah, put a better gun in his head.
Yeah. Just put it, you know, the guys are making these things.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's not bound to reality. Just get it better.
Yeah.
All right, Danny, you do the next one.
Okay. Is this unique? Is that,
Yeah,
am I correct?
he's
Yeah.
unique, right? He's only got the 3. right?
Relentless barrage.
Good friend.
He doesn't have any unique, I guess. Because
Yeah.
we have, yeah.
He has 2
B2.
specials,
Yeah, no,
right?
this is his unique.
Oh yeah, yeah.
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 B2 has a 40% chance to gain 100% turn meter whenever another ally is evaded or damaged by an attack. Evaded
Right.
by an attack.
So he's not gonna hit a lot, but he's
Okay.
basically the anti-Dooku.
Yeah.
Or anti-Old Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what the theory is here is that you lay an evasion down on someone if they don't dodge it in the first place, but if he dodges it, does he count himself as an ally? That's an interesting point. If that guy he shoots at dodges him, I'll have to ask some of the guys in our guild who are running him.
Yeah.
If you do a primary and that guy dodges,
No,
you
he
just
wouldn't.
get 100% back and go
include
again.
himself as an ally.
No. Okay, because that would be rad.
Yeah.
If they dodge, you just get
like,
another go.
Yeah. Until he dies.
Just go down.
Well, considering the damage he's doing is not much, it wouldn't be that OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem here is, like, you've got to, if you want to use his
That
primary,
damage.
you've just got to, like, put it, okay, I got Ray with the evasion down, okay, sweet, and then you got to wait till I go again, and then I can get the next guy, and okay, and then I get the next guy. You're using all of his purpose is, like, and then you want to try to get that AoE off at some point. Like, I just feel like he'd be a really frustrating character to use.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everything on paper looks good. Trying to get him to do all of his stuff in a round, where at the same time the other team are just wailing on your poor little droids or wherever you decide to put him.
Yeah.
I've seen people shoehorning him into completely non-droid builds because he doesn't have any specific droid synergies apart from the fact that
I think people
droid.
are just really excited that he's an anti-evasion character.
Yeah, but he seems like a fairly ineffective. Please, in the comments, everything, correct us if we're wrong.
Oh, you've used him and he kicks butt. I want to know.
Yeah.
He's
what I
made me
think
a bit
one of the
sad.
beauty of like this type of stuff is that even though we can read a lot of stuff online, it seems like once people really start messing around with him that have them really maxed out, they're like, no, he's worse than this thing that you never thought of or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting with Sunfact, the more people I speak to who have him, they're like, he's good. Or she, I don't know what insect race, gender he is. He's good, but like, you look at Sunfact and you go like, that guy's broke. Like, that's too good. He has everything.
Yeah.
Like we said when we first came out.
Exactly.
But then the people using him are going like, well, he's just way too slow. He needs some turn meter manipulation. And then you go like, well, Poggle doesn't actually give.
He's not as beefy as I thought he would be.
Droids and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so, it's, this is what we mean. Like, people start to use it and go, oh, wait, guys.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not great. Or at worst, like, you spend all that money to unlock this guy.
So basically, we will not know about Dengar for a while.
Yeah.
We won't know if he's good for
because
a long time.
it's going to be a month at least till they put him in the chromiums
or anywhere. Yeah.
Man,
Oh, no,
I
I'm
would
with
be
Chromiums,
really excited for the game if they didn't directly put him in chromiums. If they put him directly into something else, that would be good to see.
Joe thinks they might, and I think so too.
All right, that'd be good to see. So, all right, those are the two new characters. Now, one thing that I think is very important to look at with these characters is they are addressing evasion in some matter of...
Both of these characters have some direct anti-evasion,
which is good.
Abilities.
However, is it really going to solve the problem of evasion right now? I personally don't think so.
No, I don't think so, because abilities will never outdo a passive.
It's just like why Royal Guard was so good in the first place, is that...
You don't need to use a turn. A turn is a precious commodity.
Yeah.
Like, pressing a button on a character, when you get to high-level play, like, pressing a button is, like, really important. It is the difference between winning and losing. And that's why dodge is, as a passive leader skill, is too overpowered, because you get everything lined up just how you want it. You aim that DPS character who hits like a truck at the character you need to take out, and they dodge.
Actually,
and then they dodge, and they get turn meter because of stupid Ben. And then you go like, right, all of my all of my tactical planning, all of my manipulation of all of the elements of the game out the window because of a roll of a dice. And that doesn't feel good.
I agree.
It doesn't feel good. That's why so many people are sad. It's just sad.
But no, a good
people are sad. And they're
segue
lonely.
from that topic into our next topic, actually, is, well, our next topic is the Empire event, the Droid event the Empire event that just came out.
Yep.
In events, obviously. But I know you guys haven't played it, but I was playing around with it because I have enough characters to go in, but my characters aren't good enough, so obviously I can't get anywhere in it. But I was playing around with it, and what's really cool about it is, for some odd reason, they've added
another ability
on everybody.
The Droid event.
Oh, did they?
I
didn't even notice it.
Because we had the maxed out teams, we just pummeled it.
Yeah, that's cool. And you just basically skip a turn, but add counterattack on yourself.
Huh.
Oh, that's a new one. In the Droid, the Droid event that just passed as well, there was a healing thing. It was like a reconstruct.
Is that as well?
And you would press that, and then you had a you
Heal
had
over time.
You had a possibility to heal.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want to use that character because he was low, you could hit that and maybe come back.
Or his cooldown's not ready.
But it was a fairly significant boost. But yeah, those new elements look fun for events, and they can make like you add that kind of thing. I didn't even think of that. Like we didn't even consider that as an option for the
But I
game.
was watching somebody
to
play
add stuff like that.
the Empire event on YouTube today,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing how they could use that like extra ability was so cool, because it's like, oh, his cooldown's not ready. His primary is going to be a waste because it won't trigger this person because his special ability hasn't triggered his primary or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So he's just like, cool, I'll skip that turn and just add a counterattack up. And then, or he knew that, you know, that other stormtrooper was going to throw a grenade. So he just added counterattack on everybody, threw the grenade, boom, dead, one shot. It was just kind of like a cool little thing to play with.
That is skill. That's tactic.
Yeah.
That's tactical playing. That's what they should be encouraging. But the Empire events have not been
Bit of a
pleasing
bummer.
too many people either.
Yeah.
The Empire event in particular.
Why do you think that is, Joe?
Well, unlike many other events, it has one tier, and you need to be
And 8 levels.
at 8 levels. So if you haven't attempted it yet, which I haven't, I'm getting this all secondhand from guild members and our man over here. It's that you start this one level. So it is one level you start with 8 stages, and you need to get through all 8 stages to get to the end, which is a cool design for an event. And one I actually get behind in the sense that it encourages building the toughest team that you can build.
I would be really stoked on it too, because I actually wanted this. I was saying with raids, like an idea of a raid where it was like waves, where you tried to last out of it.
Mhm.
I like that idea.
Yeah, like a
And
marathon.
it works well with a game like this.
Yeah,
where
like a
you're
galactic
putting-
war rammed into one stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're almost guaranteed to have at least one character go down, because you have to last 8 very heavy stages.
Yeah, totally.
Which is kind of cool, because then you have to reestablish your tactics after that, you know?
I think the biggest disappointment to a lot of people was that they maybe set the barrier to entry a little too high, so that unless you had focused Rebels and Clones from an early stage as a free-to-play player, I mean, we've been playing since pretty much the beginning, and I had 4 out of 5 characters to even enter the thing.
Me
now,
too.
of course, we focused in a different direction early on, and there was another event
Nobody
recently-
knows which direction we focused in, though.
Yeah.
It's unknown to the
No,
viewer.
that's true. We don't talk about it very often.
I never talk about it.
Yeah.
It's my little secret. And when it came to the other event that we're going to talk about in a second, like that for us was just an autoplay. And I get it, that's cool, but what they should have done is done it like they did the other event and had tiers where if you only have 4 guys at 3 stars, you can just jump in and get a couple of shards for Veers or something and a couple of credits.
Yeah.
But okay, let's think about this for a second. I'm kind of jumping ahead of our topics a little bit. However, I think this is important to note. I like the idea of the themed events that they're doing, where they're asking you to bring in certain characters. However, does it have to be that way? Why can't they have a themed event where, say they're doing, and we were discussing this, where you were saying they said they were going to have a Droids event, but people are saying, why did you call this a Droids event when really it's a Jawa event, right? And if we look back again, and in this episode, we've kind of discussed a little bit before comparing the two games. I want to talk about a little bit about Puzzle and Dragons. And in Puzzle and Dragons, when they would have an event, the event was there. You had a boss that you had to complete against, and you could approach it in any way you wanted. However,
and people would zone in on the best tactics to beat it.
Exactly.
And they might find, like, it would happen every now and again that people just found, like, a cheese. You know, where it's just like, oh, make this team, and you're gold. You can just, like, spam this particular cycle, and, like, the boss can't do anything about it.
Or, however, though, there were also other teams where it's like, if you don't have those teams, then you can approach it where you do this, this, and this.
Yeah,
you put together this team. You have to be very careful at this part in the event.
Yeah,
and then if you can make
like
it
a
past
healer
that
team
part,
where you need to heal every single turn, and you might just squeak through if you play that level for, like, I mean, there were some levels in that game that no joke,
Oh my god!
took
you
me
could play
an
them
hour
forever. Yeah.
to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the most intense, like, awesome hour.
Yeah.
It was
Because you were like,
very,
it was so intense. You'd be like, oh my god, all right, yeah, yes, okay, I live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that was like, that was fun. That's what's fun. That's
Yeah.
you play games for fun.
And obviously there's
You don't play games
difference.
for handouts, and you don't play games for barriers. You play
Yeah.
games for fun.
And there's a difference between the two because dexterity comes into Puzzle and Dragons due to the
True, yeah. There is a skill element
yeah
to that.
there
which this
there
game
is
doesn't
a
have.
however I would just like to see that with these events where
Mhm.
they come up and they say, okay, this is the event, you do it, let's see, and then I
still
think they
think
would
the best event they've come up with is the Yoda event when it was hard,
yeah
because it was a challenge.
yeah
And it was
And to
tactics
overcome
versus
it-
like, who do I really need, and figuring out that puzzle.
Yeah,
and it said to people,
Mm.
you want Yoda, yo, work for him.
come get to
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
get him, you know.
Yeah.
And I was kind of actually a bit disappointed. You know, in the previous episode, I was going like, Yoda is no joke. Like, I'm getting stomped right now. Like, I'm gonna have to focus all of my stuff on like getting him because I want him. And then the next day, they made him easy.
It's because people complained, and they're focusing on the wrong complaints and being like, okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was not a valid complaint.
yeah,
That was a you can get it. Try harder.
yeah,
Yeah.
wait until next time and
Yeah.
farm
I
somebody
was,
else.
I was
Exactly,
excited
yeah.
by the prospect of trying harder. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna level my Eve Cove.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it because
Yeah.
I want Yoda. You
And
know what I mean?
imagine
And then I
too-
woke up the next morning and they're like, oh, by the way, try it again. I was like, play. I got Yoda. And it was, as cool as
Yeah.
it was to finally have my 7-star Yoda, I kind of felt like we were saying earlier, like I should have had the shame meter applied to me.
Yeah.
My Yoda should have a different shader, which makes
Okay.
him look boring.
But
He gets like
He just
a brown, boring shit.
yeah. It's not even
Okay,
good
but
Yoda. It's just like Yoda
what
when
you're
he like
saying
was
is-
eating dinner. You know that bit where he like could barely get the food in his mouth and he was
He's
just crappy and
mixing the
dying.
pot.
Yeah, that Yoda. The one who's just like yeah.
As he does his flips, he's just coughing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He just goes over and just wet slap.
yeah, I like how he like just becomes feeble
Sometimes
and dies
he
at
just randomly
900.
dies.
But
yeah.
at 880,
Yeah.
he
killing
was
butt.
friggin'
He was
doing
just
flips
kicking
and whatever.
butt.
Joe's Yoda, like every 10 arena fights, he just randomly
You
just
press the button and he just
dies.
goes.
Yeah.
He just
Skips
grunts
the
and
turn.
farts and then that's it. He just next.
No,
time.
but okay, what you're saying is,
Yeah.
you like the fact that you have to go and farm and skill up these characters
Listen, we
for
play
Yoda.
droids. We're not adverse to a stupid uphill
No,
challenge.
yeah,
I
You
know,
what I mean?
but
Yeah.
you're saying that, and I get that, and I agree. But then you also said, why don't you like Empire events? Because you have to do the same thing.
Yeah, but you have to do
You
it
have
to
to
a
approach
level.
it the same way.
Yeah, no, and I was
Yeah.
agreeing. Like, I think that's possibly a good thing about the Empire event. The problem, and I think this is the key problem that they've got at the moment, is they keep changing. They haven't set like a precedent and stuck to it. Like the
Yeah.
Yoda event happened first, and it was good. And they saw
You
it,
mean like
and
format?
yeah, it was
You
good.
don't like
No,
a different format, or
Well, they've changed the format so many times that people don't know what to prepare for. And so how can, if you're saying that we need a challenge that we can prepare for, like how can you do that if every time they release a new challenge, the preparation process is completely different?
I think, yeah.
if it comes
you have
back
to
in
go.
waves, that'll be
That's
bad,
true,
right?
But,
but
I mean,
it
what,
has to
so
come back
far, what have we got? We've got Yoda,
consistently.
where it was get 7 Jedis, fight against a Jedi to get a new Jedi.
Yeah.
Then we had the Android special event for droids, where you would take a team of droids, fight against Jawas, and get droid shards back, which I thought was the dumbest one of them all, because I had a full team of 7-star droids getting droid shards. They might as well have called that one the Shard Shop Challenge.
Yeah.
And then they tell everyone it's coming back again, but then, and they say the droid event is returning, and then it returns, but this time it drops Jawa shards, which I actually preferred.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
all the people that are expecting the old event got all in a huff about that. And then they
'Cause
say
they
the
have,
Empire
like,
event's coming,
5-star,
and that
6-star.
had several different tiers where you could take any level of droid team in and see how far you could get. And then they released the Empire event where it's one single thing and you need the perfect team to get through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So like every single time an event has come around, the format has been so different then no one knows what to prepare for.
But I think this comes back to then give people the option to bring in whatever they want.
Yes, that
And
would
then
solve a lot of problems.
That would solve all their problems, because then I feel
But
like
it would lead to a lot of cheasing, because you would just bring in
sure.
dodge ray teams and
Yeah, yeah.
just slam the
Well,
hell out of
no,
everything.
I
Like the
I
raid,
don't
you can bring
agree
in...
with you guys.
Yeah.
I think they're doing it okay, but what I just think they need to implement is returning these events.
Yeah, but...
People are gonna get pissed off because the droid challenge, you didn't name it correctly. Who cares?
No, I don't
You
care
know
about
what I
that.
mean?
What I mean is
But
that
just keep bringing it back.
when you want to prepare, like imagine the guy who presumed that the Empire event was going to be like the Droid event. So they knew they couldn't get to the top tier. But they diverted their resources to getting 5 rebels up to a mid-level so they could compete up to a certain point.
Right.
And then it comes around and it's like, no, you need to beat the whole thing all in one go.
Are we really looking, though, at maybe that they need to be a little bit more transparent as to what's coming up? Because
Yes,
it feels
exactly.
a little makeshift, right?
I have no problem with
Yeah.
the Yoda event. I thought it was great. I have no problem... Well, I thought the first Droid event, the one that gave you Droid shards back for having a Droid team, that's done. None of that. Right? Like, who wants to make a 7-star Jedi team? Like, imagine if the Yoda event, you got your 7-star Jedi team, you went in, and then at the end it just gave you a bunch of Qui-Gon shards
Yeah.
for your Qui-Gon that was already at 7 stars. That's done. So get rid of that completely. But then the second Droid event with the Jawas, fine. And this event, fine. But, like, some consistency or some transparency. One or the other.
Yeah.
Like,
It
if
really-
you can
yeah.
give consistency, you don't need
I
transparency.
Well,
see your point of view.
Well, okay, you know how in the events it says Yoda is coming back in 7 days?
Yeah.
Maybe if they warned people 7 days beforehand and they gave you the same picture, like Empire event is coming back, then you know.
Yeah, but then the problem is, so far, is every event has been different.
No, I know what you're saying, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying is maybe stop making new events
And then, like,
focus
in the
on
case
these.
of the Droid event,
Yeah.
it'd be like they say the Yoda event is coming back, and then when it comes back, it's completely different to the Yoda event that was there
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And everyone got ready for the Yoda event that was there before.
Mm.
Like, I think the Droid event that came first was done. But I feel sorry for the people who prepared for the Droid event that came first, because they said it was coming back, and got a completely different event that they couldn't even participate in.
Yeah.
Let's look at, because we were discussing this previously, at the rewards that events give you. As we were discussing, okay, you had a Droids event that gave you Droid shards. Are you kidding me? You know, like that doesn't even, in my mind, okay, it works for players at a very specific, certain point in the game. However, are you really going to make events where it's only an intermediate event, right? Like something that's only for players that are trying to level up, or players that are trying to push past a certain point with another team?
Yeah.
I don't know. In my mind, you could, yeah, but obviously this game is in its infancy in a sense where they're trying to. I mean, it's been around for a while, but
We
it
say
seems
it is
like
a
they're
6-month year.
Yeah.
That's a new word. A 6-month-old game.
But I think
that
what
hasn't
you're
achieved any level
addressing
of-
in
yeah.
that sentence is that it is a cell phone game, and cell phone games have to just rock right out of the box. They have to
No.
really have their stuff together
No, I
so they
understand.
can stay consistent.
This isn't
And-
a dev bashing conversation.
No,
just
it's
a-
not. It's just
a valid-
I want this. I love this game. This is a
I
great
want it
game.
to last
I don't know
forever.
if you guys know, but we have a show about this game.
Yeah.
This is like
Turns out that
Yeah.
we decided a good way of spending our time
Yeah.
was this.
Actually,
Friday
you know
nights.
what?
What should we do?
We're not the only ones spending a lot of
Yeah.
times
No.
doing this.
We now have hundreds of friends
More money.
who do the same
People
thing.
spend
yeah.
a lot of money. This game is doing okay. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I don't think they
So
really
I
need to
just want it
focus
to do
on.
better. I want
Yeah.
them to hit the whole plethora of everyone's. I'm trying to keep it PG. I was trying to hit something. I was gonna say something rude there, but I thought
Well, at least
let's
yeah.
go against that. All
Yeah,
right.
anyway.
Greg's in a sweary mode today.
Yeah,
A
definitely.
quick rundown of the events that had just passed. The Empire events rewards were a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I,
I was bummed out,
when I
and then
looked
I
at the
saw
peop-
the rewards, and I was like, "Yeah, it's
when I
fine."
looked at the rewards that people got, all I really saw was the million credits and went, "Ooh, I wish I had a million credits." And then I saw a bunch of Veers and Stormtrooper shards and went like, "Pfft, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it was a pretty cool reward for getting to the end. Million credits, and it worked out at like 30 odd shards of various characters, including
How
Royal
many
Guard.
times can you rent? You can rent 3 times, right?
Yeah, but you don't get 1 million.
Oh,
You
it's
get
only like first time.
45,000 after that.
Wow.
And with the
Wow,
droid,
that's quite a drop.
yeah, but the interesting thing, and again, it comes to the consistency. I'm going to go down into the detail of it now. But so the Empire event is free. You just press start and you play it.
That's good.
So now the droid event was
People
split
were
into 8
definitely-
tiers, and each tier cost energy, and each tier could be refreshed with ally points. Something I thought was cool, and something we've talked
like
about
that.
before.
Yeah.
Different uses for bronzium points. We had a whole episode. Check our feed; it's in there. What do we think we should do with bronzium?
Yeah.
Or I guess more accurately, that should have been what should we do with ally points, than
Yeah.
what should we do with bronzium. And so that was 8 different tiers or 7 different tiers. I can't remember.
Actually, we never even addressed that. That was great.
That was cool.
I
That
loved
was the
that
coolest
they
part of
put
the
that
droid
in.
event
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
that the first refresh on tier 6 was 500 ally
500
points,
ally
then
points.
1,500 ally points. I had 25,000 ally points. to do.
I never even bothered to do this stuff. This
I
is
can't
great.
even be bothered to pull the bronzium thing
Yeah.
anymore. And so that was interesting because, okay, it cost energy to start, but you got some money back, and you had a chance at a character that's actually hard to get.
Yeah.
The Jawa engineer.
Very difficult.
Very difficult.
Especially
Or-
if you're unlucky.
Shards that
Yeah.
characters that none of us really have
Yeah,
built up
Dacia
at
and
all.
Jawa,
Yeah.
like, and it might be a hint because there was Chief Chibit, or Chibit, or however you say his name, who looks like a character they were heavily hinting would be involved in
It's
the
the second
game.
time
So-
we've seen him again as
Yeah.
well.
Second time we've seen him again, and that could mean that he might make Jawa teams again. Something we would like to happen. Synergy teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the inconsistency. There's an event where it's free, but you need the max team to actually finish the thing, or you get zilch. Let's be clear, if you don't finish the Empire event, you get nothing. So the entry fee is nothing, but unless you're rocking pretty much the right kind of team, you're also getting nothing back.
Yeah.
And there was the Jawa, or the Droid event, where you could enter up to a point. You could only get the Jawa engineer shards for the last 2 levels.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get Jawa engineer for 1 through 5, only for 6 to 7. And again, if you beat the top tier of that, the first time you beat it, you got 750,000 credits.
Yeah.
And like
and
5
free shards of all of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
yeah, which was a great reward. And it's the consistency. Like, it's one of them needed energy and then ally points to refresh. The other one's free to use and then needs ally points to refresh once you're done with your free runs. And then, the one before that, just every time you don't know what to expect,
Yeah.
and not in a good way. Like, not knowing what to expect can be a good thing
However, okay.
until it
we're-
locks you out.
I feel like we've gotten so far past the infancy of the game, as I was saying before,
Yeah.
and we've kind of, like, there's just people left here that are probably going to play until they just beat them away. They just say, you will never have fun with this game, right?
Mhm.
There's
It's
still,
happening though every
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
right? And so they're still working things out with the events. I think there are some good signs. This idea too, where you're not spending credits, you're not spending energy, you're not spending crystals to go into this event. That's great. However, just have a bit more time for people to get ready for it. Then people would be really excited about it, and then you would have a lot more. I just feel too they're missing out on content producers being able to be like, oh, I'm saving up for this event, I can't wait to see what I get, and then they stream doing the event, or they take a YouTube video of doing the event, and then they show, look at all these awesome rewards. And before we turn away from this, because I think we've been talking about this for like 20 minutes.
We're getting into a long
this
episode.
is obviously
yeah.
a very serious issue.
He's
for
still
us.
here.
yeah.
Maximum respect if you are.
Cool.
Do you want to tell people about the new Wampa species that are on this?
So
thing now?
Wampa is, let me get out the Wikipedia.
It's
picture.
like a Yeti, but Star Wars.
Nailed it. That's it.
Okay, one thing that I want to say before we go, and we all agree on this, and we were talking about this before, was that events just need, at a certain point, there needs to be some that give a way better reward. Give 50 stun cuffs
Yes.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Just
It doesn't need to be
obtain-
characters.
Obtainable
Yeah.
hard gear to get.
Yes.
Do you know how quickly I can get 10 Veer shards? I can do it in an afternoon.
Yeah.
But do you know how long it takes me to get 50 of those stupid purple grenade things? I did 3 refreshes today and got 6.
Yeah.
from like
The
20
thermal detonator things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
God,
those are awful.
Go.
Yeah.
I
Give-
I want to say
people
go
that
away, but I want to
chance.
say no. Get into my I think that first victory. If they gave you 50 stun cuffs
Yeah.
with that first victory,
Make it tough.
I
But
would
yeah,
I
give
would
that.
go and
Yeah.
farm a team of freaking Empire guys
Oh yeah.
just
Oh, one
to
thing
save myself.
About the Emperor
for
event,
25.
just wanted to
days.
say that's another time we've seen the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
Emperor.
He's coming.
Again,
He's
right?
coming.
Definitely.
He's coming.
Man, when that guy comes out, I want him so bad.
If he hits as hard as
I-
he does in the stupid events, though, I don't want anything to do with him.
I want to see.
But his
their-
animation is just cool.
Yeah,
and when
so
you
cool.
do, all your characters just get all old and
So
wrinkly.
good. Yeah. All right, let's talk about our next topic. More than a feeling. So
Oh, beautiful.
nailed it.
Boom.
Perfect.
That's
So
for
we
you
got- we
guys
got a
who
new
stuck around
mic,
for
so,
55
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
55
You know it.
minutes in, you
Yeah.
hit gold.
Yeah. Just loop that on repeat. All right. So more than a feeling is speed meta is returning. Now I feel like I say this with a very heavy heart because I don't want this to
Yeah.
return, and I don't think any of us want
I
this.
think
to
that was the
return.
most frustrating meta.
I
Yeah.
want it to return because it is directly benefiting my arena
That's
team.
true.
Right now.
That's true.
Yeah, but I understand why. One, the royal we would not want it to return.
Yeah. So, at a certain point where we're talking about last week, so what is it right now? June 2nd or something?
Third?
Last week
I don't know.
when people
Yeah.
were all starting to hit 80, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people were still kind of 79, and these are people like, let's say, in the top 100 of everyone's arena shards. You definitely started to see a comeback of people running, Akbar teams, Akbar leads,
Mhm.
with just trying to get things out there real fast, pretty high gear, and it really seemed like they were gonna start stomping people again.
And they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Gear 11 hand Akbar teams
Yeah.
are so fast.
They're
There's
gnarly.
nothing you
Yeah.
can do
Yeah.
about it. Except go faster. And just last week we figured out that our droid teams, which we love, we can just use Jawa Engineer and
then-
go faster than them and beat all of them.
Saint Jawa Engineer.
Saint-
Saint J.E.
No, Jawa Engineer is like the devil. He just kills the same hand.
And he was
so-
doing work at like 5 stars.
Oh.
We all put him on our team at 5
Insane
stars, and he
character.
was just like,
we love him, but
game
he
changer.
also scares me as a character because he creates this, and maybe it's an interim. Maybe it levels out. I hope it does, because as much as I'm loving crushing everybody right now,
Yeah.
I
With a
can't-
team that no one is running.
No, and just bananas. Like, I've told this story to our guild mates, so Team Omega, sorry you've heard it 100 times, but the
the
other
only
day,
people watching this video.
That's true. That's probably true. The other day, I'm facing against one of these Akbar teams. If you're playing in the top 10 on any server, you've probably seen it. Akbar lead, Gear 11 Han, Gear 10 Ray, Gear 10 Leia, and Royal Guard.
Literally never seen that team.
Oh man,
That's crazy.
Well,
Huh.
can I move to your server? They have a space. I will pay premium money to not have to face
They
these
put
teams.
Royal Guard. I don't think I've seen too many Royal
Yeah.
Guard plus STHAM. They usually put somebody else in.
I've seen a lot with Royal
Oh,
Guard because the
I see
double
that
stun
all
is
the
gross.
time.
The
It's
double
brutal.
taunt is gross. But
Yeah.
It is gross, but
anyway, the
faster
story
without it.
goes that I used to start that game with my droid team, which is HK 88, 86, JE, and Royal Guard, just because he's a nice all-rounder.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the game starts, Akbar shoots his gun in the air, Han, he starts giving it all of this,
Yeah.
and then everyone's attacking all of a sudden. You're like, what just happened? Half my team is dead.
I hate seeing Han, but one thing I do like about him is this like WWE thing.
Yeah.
that's
Or, like,
got
the Matrix,
going on.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
It is kind of
Yeah.
like, it's like Hong Kong
Yeah.
pulp movie. But anyway, so I was just like, well, I'm going to try something out because I can't beat these teams. So who cares? Like, the guy in first was running this team, and I needed first, and I had 10 minutes until my payout. So I was like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw in this little 4-star, level 60-something Magna Guard that was just sitting in my box, rusting. And I'll put him in because then that will synergize with Jawa Engineer, make Jawa Engineer pop before Akbar, which would then give me a whole slew of turns if things go well. And lo and behold, I wound up first with a team with 3 maxed out players, well, not fully maxed out gear wise, but level 80, 7-star, pretty high gear level, and a 5-star and a 4-star character in my team.
Yeah.
Which made me feel super cool, you know, for a minute. And like, I got a message from Hungry Eyes and from Team Skunk Alpha going like, "What WTF? Like, how the hell did that happen? Like, are you cheating or something?" I was like, "No, man. All I needed to do was go faster."
Yeah.
And as that settled in, I kind of went from feeling like the coolest guy in the world to being like, "Oh no, is it happening?
How is this gonna come
Is
back?
it happening?
Is
Like,
this
is
coming
it
back?
just the speed? Is it happening all over again? Like, and am I like at the root of it? Oh, I feel dirty now. Like, I'm not even happy
Am I
about.
the worst?
Yeah.
Am I the scummiest of them all?
But then I
like
remembered
patient
one,
zero,
I remember
Joe.
one
Yes.
important thing was that on defense, the AI is so dumb that it doesn't know what to do with all that speed.
Yeah.
So, imminently beatable on defense. It's not one of these teams you can put in first and just like stay there for 2 weeks. But
I
it
think
is a
this-
concern. It means that offense teams will always be better than defense teams.
Yeah. And so faster will always be better than slower.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had the whole Royal Guard movement, but that's taken care of with Ray. I remember, I have like a very strong Royal Guard.
Mhm.
Left him up. His protection was like almost down, but he still had some protection left. Ray. Boom. Like one of the heaviest healthy characters in the game.
Yeah.
Ray's just like, you're dead.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
like
no, Ray's like a
the
different,
anti-RG.
a different problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this really shines a light on the way that PvP is done in this game,
Mhm.
right? With the player versus AI. If player versus AI continues, will speed ever be worse than having synergy or something like that?
The problem is exactly that. Like, this is a lot of ranting about our own personal experiences, but I guess if we boiled it down, is that speed and dodge are the guaranteed wins. Dodge is
Yeah.
how you defend, and speed is how you win.
Yeah.
And it negates synergy, and synergy is the most exciting thing about the game.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us sad.
However, if PvP
More.
continues, yeah, we need some juice.
Yeah.
If PvP
Long episode, we're going to need
continues,
reinforcements.
yeah, exactly.
On the couch
yeah.
with Retro Gaming. This is it.
I would like some coconut water.
Yep.
Man, coconut water comes
On
in 4-packs.
the
This is dope.
Couch.
Couch.
Wow,
Here's your
is that
coconut
some
water. Yeah.
Vitamin water?
Yeah,
Oh.
This is
Uh,
vitamins, guys.
50 cent is really in this. Will it change? That's what we're trying to say. I don't know if it will. I would be so excited if one day they gave you a different option in PvP and possibly a different ladder where you could have
A standard and a proper dual
yeah,
ladder.
I would
so
love to see that because it would be like what Hearthstone's doing right now with standard and wild, you know, stuff like that, where you would have teams that would absolutely work in player versus AI, and then
Forced
you would,
synergy. That would be great.
Yeah.
You cannot put a player on your team that is not of the same tribe as your leader.
oh, that would be interesting.
Amazing.
too. Yeah,
Like, what a great and it doesn't need to be part of the same. If people want to play the old game, let them have it.
that could be very hard to
That'd be
balance,
so-
though.
Yeah, it'd be hard to
But it
balance,
would
but
be
at least you
fun.
could go in there
Yeah.
and like these modes where winning doesn't matter. It's just a place to go and have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's like the problem is arena is the only place I get to play against other people, and winning is everything.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable that people will exploit the most powerful things.
And we discussed this before. Let's look back on it again. Give people the option to play against other people. As
Mhm.
soon as you give people that option, I guarantee there'll be a lot less balance complaints.
Yeah.
Because you will just have people making their own stuff.
Yeah, and
Give that option. We
Yeah.
will, as soon as that comes out, we will make a Ritual Gaming PvP league. And there will be anything.
and stupid rules.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy
just-
rules. You could have a tournament one week where it's only synergy, or you could have a tournament one week where you're not allowed anyone from the same tribal faction on
All
that,
attackers.
You know? Yeah, all
no
attackers,
taunts.
all defenders.
Yeah, all defenders.
Infinite.
Only people with capes.
Yeah.
Oh, moustaches only.
Yeah.
Yeah, mustaches on.
Oh, just the taunt. Yeah, like the tank challenge. Like,
Yeah.
the auto tank challenge where you just have to make 2 tank teams and press auto and see and whoever gets the longest game wins.
I just don't understand too. Why do they not have that going on right now? Because
so much room for
it
community
only
input,
gives again exactly community stuff too. Because it gives people content creation where you can have people running tournaments saying, okay, we're gonna do this, and if you're worried about, say, balance issues, that's okay. People that are running those tournaments will figure that out. They'll say, okay, oddly enough, bigs or something is incredibly imbalanced when you start running these tournaments. Take bigs out.
It is asking a lot of the devs, and like obviously what we're saying is
Yeah,
I don't
agree
know.
with Greg.
I don't know how to
think
make a game.
I mean,
I don't know how to make
I mean, there's like we were saying before,
tokens.
the whales out there. They've spent their money and they're happy with that. But people who've just spent money and sort of regret it, this would negate that. For me, anyways, I would not regret spending. I'd be like, sweet.
Because
this
then
game.
they could still use that dude to go and just destroy their friend.
Yeah.
You would never compete on the real ladder, but God, you could have some fun with it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I feel like we've driven this point home through multiple episodes. And maybe someone that's watched a lot of the episodes is just thinking, man, they talk about this a lot.
Yeah, but
They
it's
really don't
frustration
a lot.
bubbling to,
Yeah, exactly.
to a juice and juice.
All right, let's talk about Wish Upon a Star. When you wish upon a star. Nailed it.
Gosh. I'm not moving off of this.
All right.
Gosh, anytime soon.
So, for When You Wish Upon a Star this week, turrets have been discovered through data mining. Those data miners are hard at work, just making things available for
These
us.
guys are such nerds.
Yeah.
Well,
Man.
I mean, they're not the ones that have a talk show, but
No, they're not on the couch though.
Yeah.
They're just in their bedroom.
That's true.
Yeah.
Looking at code.
In their bedroom
Who's
with
the
data
nerdier?
miners. Oh, we love you guys, and you give us information
That's
that we
true.
really, really need. So
I
please
don't
keep
think
on doing it.
I think you're the best.
Yeah.
For the next raid, turrets are a possible thing. They seem to exist in the next raid. So, for our limited knowledge, we wanted to take Wish Upon a Star and say, okay, if turrets exist, what does that mean, and what do we want it to mean? How do we want to see turrets implemented into a raid? So, Joe,
Why don't you go first? I like your idea a lot.
Yeah, I
Why
wanna
don't
hear your
you go
idea.
first?
You
This
like
is
it?
cool.
You like my idea?
We've seen
Alright.
the ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're like the game makers.
Alright,
We just know
so-
what's happening next.
We definitely, the first thing when we saw turrets, we all jumped towards ships, except for Joe, which will be interesting. And really, definitely, I want ships in the game. And when I first thought about this, I thought I really want ships. However, Danny said he already called ships. Whatever.
Now I have nothing to talk
Yeah.
about, so that's
Dibs.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to ruin your
Thanks for that.
Alright. So, turrets, in my mind, when I thought about it a little bit further beyond ships, maybe could be the defense of Hoth, which would be really cool. And I would love really to see a raid, and this is partly on top of what we were talking about with the Empire event, where you got the extra ability. I would love to see a raid where only certain parts of your character's skills were really used, and they were used in combination of something that you could assign them to. So you could assign one character to a turret. You could assign 2 characters to maybe being in the foreground, like fighting melee.
Chew it to the turret.
Yeah, something like that, and then some sort of idea like that where it's a bit more of a.
And I might even make use of Finn. Remember that guy's in this game?
Is
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, there's this guy called Finn. He was really
But that's
cool
cool.
in the movie.
You could really
once.
play with like the whole battle of Hoth. The AT-ATs. This is the first time you get to see these cool machines.
So much more room for activities.
AT,
But I mean, like,
raids gotta happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But like the Rancor, he's got the trapdoor that you have to shoot. This you could like work on shooting out some sort of rope around the AT-AT's legs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then take them down, and then you get like the crit chance
It's
or
almost
whatever.
as if that rope was taken around the AT-AT's leg by a ship.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think shift.
Alright, let's go on to David's idea.
No, I mean, because they said turrets, and in my mind, turrets equal the Death Star, the ships, and then he's like, in his X-wing, and
Yeah,
he's
it
just
is
shooting
Luke-
at the turrets,
Luke
and
taking out the Death Star, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
there's
gotta
the
be.
Death Star idea.
This is what I honestly I hope my idea doesn't exist. This is what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, like,
X-wings taking out the Death Star.
in the raid, in the guild, section of the game, they have like the Rancor, and then right beside it they have that little
The
circle
blank,
of ships. It's ships. It's
Yeah,
definitely
ships.
ships. I mean, it looks like the little bookmarks you put on Google Maps, but it's ships. That's what it is. So yeah, I mean, in my mind, that's what it is.
All right, Joe.
I'm not saying necessarily that we're going to use the D word again, but
Robots.
robots.
Say robots.
Say
It's going to be a
robots.
robots raid. Alliteration. Again. Poetry. No, I reckon maybe it's not a droid-based raid, but I'm more excited for what characters it might pull out of the muck. So you got a turret. Turrets are robotic machinery. They can be stunned. They can be stunned by anti-machinery characters like Ugnaught, like Eve Koth, like Imagandi.
Yeah.
These like guys
This guy's
are
just
just
waiting on the
languishing
sidelines,
in
like,
the,
I can do it.
I can do it,
Put
boss.
me in,
Put me in,
coach.
coach. Yeah. These guys are languishing in the sidelines doing nothing. Like, I was hoping after Protection came out, maybe Imagandi might make a bit of a splash. He didn't.
Well, it's like the anti-Jedi.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of anti-Jedi characters, and they work because people are using Jedi.
Because people are using Jedi.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's
people
why
are using droids.
It's
But
why Cad Bane is an
yeah.
interesting proposition now with old Ben around. He's like an old Ben that counts as old Ben, but different story. Yeah, I just feel like if the turrets are made out of machines, which they are, unless they're like Ewok turrets made out of wood, then yeah, maybe make it that if you bring like an Ugnaught in your squad, he's just there solely for his stunning purpose, where he can just be like turret out, you know, bypass, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, if that then developed into, you know, like you develop that idea into what we talked about last week, like a droid-based raid, where, again, these characters that have just been dying a death, like, suddenly, you know.
So you really have no new material.
This is
just
last week.
basically last week.
I just wanted to talk about droids some more in a different context. Yeah.
All right, well, let's continue to our last topic, which is
That should be
basically
the last
just,
one, yeah.
it should be just called braggery.
Braggery?
Braggery.
Oh, I like doing that.
Yeah. It seems like droids are back, and we are all very, very excited about this. We were debating not talking about it in the episode, but we figured just put it as a little
Oh, sure,
tail
just
end.
fuck.
Yeah. Oh, whoa.
For deal with.
Yeah. It's awesome that the Omega of HK-47 really changed things around for droids, and now JE, Saint JE,
MrBomb.com.
That's the water being blown
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Jawa Engineer just really changes it.
So good.
It does show some worrying signs because, as we said, with the speed meta, I mean, we've all been running JE at 5 stars. You and I just got him to 6 stars today. Did you get him to 6 stars?
I'm
yet?
nowhere near. I've been having a bad run, and I refuse to spend the 50 crystals to
Well,
refresh
yeah,
it.
yeah. So 5 stars, 6 stars. We've gotten
Fully
like,
usable.
first in arena
think
for the last
Almost all week, I think.
All week,
at
yeah.
least.
Yeah.
Just with him.
Yeah, the last week, and that's running HK-47 lead with IG-86, IG-88, JE, and Royal Guard.
And as I said in my little anecdote earlier, when the only team that didn't work against was the Akbar team,
The faster team.
I just took out Royal Guard and stuck in the only other droid I had lying around rusting in my account,
Yeah.
and then beat that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
At level 62, which is ridiculous. I don't think...
star.
Yeah, that doesn't really show synergy. It shows speed, right?
Yeah.
The importance of it.
Now on the flip side, though, on defense, it is awful.
Oh, it's
I've
horrendous.
been ranting and raving, and Grand Patron, our overlord, he pointed out, he's like, I got one of those on my server, and I beat it easily. I'm like, post a video, I'd be really interested to see why. And then I was like, oh, that's right, because the AI is dumb as anything.
Yeah.
Focus down all the wrong people, and then, like, it is a team that if you use it, you pilot it well, you can beat anything.
And that's because the beauty of it is that you can snipe out Rey and Leia
It's almost
before
as
they
if they
do
were
their dirty work.
assassins or something.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it almost puts
Bounty
them in their
hunters,
place.
Yeah, you because you can kill someone straight away, providing they don't get a bunch of dodges, and then the power does fall off and actually fall into a balanced region. You just get like your one guy.
You get
Ray.
your one
Her name's
shot.
Ray.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and you just go pow, and then you can take her out, and then you fall back to pretty much a regular team that can be easily overwhelmed by better builds.
Actually, sometimes when you're facing teams like RG, Estihan, Ray, whoever else you want, doesn't even matter. Then you snipe out the Ray, and then sometimes I get worried because I'll be left with just HK-47, IG-86, IG-88, and you're in a 3v4 all of a sudden because they'll take out Royal Guard and they'll take out JE because, I mean, he's nothing, right? He has no armor
especially
at all.
at 5 stars.
Yeah, exactly,
he's
right?
Just,
So, and then, but you still eke it out because then all of a sudden you take out their Han, and then, oh yeah, you take out...
Well, you've taken out that one person that just goes, boom, you're dead. Boom, you're dead. Boom,
Yeah.
you're dead. I win.
Yeah, like you go before Leia can even stealth, and then you do a sweep and you ability block her so she can't stealth.
You have 2 chances to ability block her.
Yeah,
And-
which is great.
yeah.
And
really
if
think
RG procs, you still have 2 chances.
At this
to
point,
just...
we should just fade out the video. And
Yeah. Just keep talking about it.
It's just us debating it. Lindy just comes in and closes off the lights.
Just closes the laptop. Oh,
Right,
my-
yes, okay, that's a good place to end.
Alright. If you don't know about droids, you gotta check them right out.
Oh,
right.
man. Okay.
This is Greg, Danny, and Joe from Ritual Gaming.
Love you.
Episode 14, Need for Speed. Thanks a lot for sticking with us. We will catch you next week, where we will explain to you in episode 15 what a Wampa is.
And droids.
And droids.